We come to number 11 now in our series, looking at the story of Joshua, lessons of faith from Joshua. This one's entitled Living in the Land. We are always living in the land. We are creatures of this earth, aren't we? And what of course we're really talking about is what happened after Joshua and the Israelites took control of the promised land. And we turn straight away to Joshua and chapter 22. So let's take a look at that. It's all the story of the allotments of different kinds to the different people, and the people of half tribe of Manasseh and Gad and Reuben were on the east side of the Jordan. You remember they said, we'll take this part as our inheritance, and the other half of Manasseh and the other tribes took the land to the west. The people of Reuben and Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh built an altar as they were going to cross back over the Jordan, but on the western side, as a way of demonstrating their continued commitment to be people of the land, because they said, well, maybe if we don't do something like that, we will be separated from our kinsmen, and we will be discriminated against. I think that's really the best way to say it. And the other tribes, when they worked out what Reuben, Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh had done, said this is rebellion. They're setting up an alternative place of worship. This is completely wrong and we should go and destroy them. They're immediately ready to go to war against their brothers. It's a crazy situation, isn't it? To actually think that that would be the way to solve the problem. And thankfully, they don't do that, because there's an intermediary who comes along and says, let's find out what really is going on. And in verse 22 of Joshua 22, the Lord is God of gods, the Lord is God of gods, and he knows. That's their immediate response, a commitment to the shared faith from Reuben, Gad and half tribe of Manasseh. May Israel also know, if we're in rebellion against God or being disloyal to him, then kill us right now. If our action of building an altar was to turn away from the Lord, or to use the altar to make burnt offerings or grain offerings or friendship offerings, then may the Lord punish this. We did this because we were worried in the future your descendants might say to us, what have you got to do with the Lord, the God of Israel? They're saying, we don't want to have any misunderstandings about who we are and what we're doing in the future. We're putting this altar here as a memorial so that people will know that we are still very much part of Israel. And we haven't given up. We haven't abandoned the faith. And we say this, if people did say you don't belong to the Lord, our descendants would reply, verse 28, look at this copy of the Lord's altar which our forefathers made, not for burnt offerings or sacrifices, but as a witness between us and you. And when Phinehas, the intermediary, finds this out, he reports back and everyone says, oh, well, good. We don't have to go and tag them anyway. And there's a lesson for us about how do we deal with disagreements or misunderstandings, especially one that is really very significant, like in this case. It nearly ended up in civil war, a terrible situation. And if that is the way that we react, maybe we need to think again and say, well, just a moment. This isn't the way that we should act. Let's find out what the truth is. You know, there's lots of rumors go around, even in church, and people take sides and start complaining, and There's a great deal of bitterness and resentment that builds up, and people go to war almost. Let's think twice before we take any kind of precipitous action, and find out what is the truth of the situation before we react and do something that we will regret. Let's think about these things and take this as a great example for us.